How did my husband make me look like the criminal in front of my coworkers, with one envelope and a calm face? Why did the bank app hit account frozen right after I signed for the papers, like my life was a light switch? I still want to say he set me up, but the dates on my own transfers were right there. My name is Verena Tarrant. I was 34, and I worked as an HR coordinator at a logistics company. People liked me because I smiled at the right time. I knew how to sound kind, even when I was not kind inside. At home, I said I wanted peace. But I also wanted to feel alive. Ethan was my husband. He was 36 and worked in IT. He liked plans and lists. He liked the same dinner on the same day. He said it was stable. I said it was dead. When he asked what was wrong, I said nothing was wrong. I told myself I was just growing. We had 2 kids. Mila was 9 and Noah was 6. They were good kids. They liked cartoons and cereal. They liked when we both laughed. I told myself they would be fine no matter what. I told myself kids only needed a happy mother. That morning started like many mornings. The kitchen smelled like coffee and toast. Ethan stood by the counter and looked at his phone. He said the savings app was sending alerts again. He asked if we should review the budget this weekend. I said budgets were for people who did not know how to live. He asked why I sounded sharp. I said he was sensitive. I saw a folder near the fruit bowl. It had a label on it. It said, bank. I felt a small heat in my chest. I did not like seeing that word in our kitchen. It felt like a judge watching me. Ethan asked if I wanted him to pack Mila's lunch. I said yes, and I said it in a sweet voice. I did that on purpose. I wanted him to feel guilty for even asking about money. In my head, I told myself I carried this family with my emotions. I told myself he should carry the numbers. On the drive to work, I checked my phone and waited for one name, Gavin Rios. When his text came, I felt my body relax. He had a way of writing like the world was open. He sent me a link to a weekend rental and said it looked clean and quiet. He asked if I wanted to go away soon. I said I did, and I added a heart. I told myself it was not wrong to want something for myself. At the office, I walked into the open plan floor and waved at people. I was good at small talk. I asked who had a new haircut. I asked about someone's dog. I liked being seen as warm. It gave me power. Marisol Nguyen, a co-worker, asked if I looked tired. I said I slept badly because Ethan had been in a mood. She asked what I meant. I said he got weird about money and made everything heavy. I made my eyes look sad. I did not even need to force it. I believed my own story when I said it. At noon, I slipped out and went to a cafe downtown. It was not close to my office, but I told myself I deserved the walk. Gavin was already there. He wore that casual jacket that made him look like he was not trying. He asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, and I said Ethan was just stuck. Gavin asked if Ethan still watched my spending. I said yes, even though Ethan did not watch it like that. He only asked questions. I called it watching. Gavin talked about his work and said a project was almost ready. He said he just needed a bridge. He did not say money in a hard way. He said it like a soft request. He said real love needed real support. I said I understood. I said I was not like other wives who forgot themselves. I said I would handle it. I looked at my banking app under the table. The house savings had a number I knew by heart. It was supposed to be for repairs, for the kids, for a safer future. But when I looked at it, I felt like it was also a wall. I told myself a wall can be moved. When I came back to the office, I worked fast. I closed HR tickets. I answered emails. I smiled at my manager. I also watched my phone. I waited for Ethan to text because part of me wanted a fight. A fight would give me an excuse. But he did not text. Later, in the late afternoon, Ethan called. He asked how my day was. I said it was busy. He asked if I could pick up milk. I said yes. He sounded normal. That made me annoyed. In my head, I said he should feel my pain. If he did not feel it, then he did not care. At the grocery store, I stood by the checkout and watched families. I told myself my family looked normal too. I told myself nobody could see what I was doing. I told myself I was smart. That night, after the kids were in bed, Ethan sat at the kitchen table with his laptop. He asked if I noticed the savings balance was lower. He said it was not a big drop, but it was a drop. He asked if I moved money for something. His voice was calm, not accusing. My throat went tight. I felt trapped, so I attacked. I said he was acting like a father, not a husband. I said I could not breathe when he talked like that. He asked what he did wrong. I said he did not trust me. He said trust did not mean silence. I said it did. He asked if we could look at the account together. I said no. I said he was obsessed with control. I said he never asked how I felt, only what I spent. That was not true, but it sounded true. Ethan looked down at his screen. He said he did ask about my feelings. I said he only asked because he wanted to fix me like a broken device. I saw him glance at the fridge calendar. There was a reminder on it, something like meeting personal, and a time under it. I did not know what it meant. I told myself it was work. I told myself everything was fine. In the bedroom, I held my phone close and made the transfer. I moved a big piece from the house savings into my personal account. My fingers shook, but my face stayed still. When the alert came, it said, "Transfer completed." I felt a rush, like I had won something. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself I would put it back soon. I told myself Ethan pushed me into it by questioning me. Ethan came into the room and asked why I looked tense. I said I was just tired. He asked if we were okay. I said we were okay if he stopped pressuring me. He nodded once and said he did not want to fight. I said good, because I did not either. Then I turned away, already planning my next message to Gavin. I told myself the transfer was not a lie. I told myself it was a choice. In the morning, I acted normal. I packed cereal bowls and signed a school form. Ethan made coffee and did not say much. His calm felt like a test. I wanted him to explode so I could point at him and say, "See, this is why I need space." But he just asked if I wanted a ride to work. I said no in a sharp voice, like his offer was an insult. At work, I walked in like I owned the air. I said good morning to people who barely looked up. I liked that moment when they did look up. I liked being seen. It made my choices feel clean. Cassidy Moore messaged me before lunch. She asked if I was coming to the rooftop bar tonight. She said everyone needed a break and she had tea. I asked what kind of tea. She said it was about husbands who police their wives. I understood what she meant, and I smiled at my screen. I took my lunch in the break room and talked loud enough for people to hear. Marisol was there. So was a new guy from accounting. I said Ethan was acting weird again. I said he watched every dollar and treated me like a child. Marisol asked what Ethan actually did. I said he questioned me and made me justify basic things. I said it like he was dangerous. It was not true, but it was close enough to sound true. The accounting guy asked if Ethan yelled. I said Ethan did not yell, but his silence was worse. I said it was a kind of punishment. I said it made me feel small. The room got quiet for a moment. I let it. Quiet is useful. Quiet makes people imagine things. After work, I drove to pick up Mila and Noah. The school pickup line was slow. Parents stood near their cars and checked phones. I noticed a woman 2 cars ahead whispering while looking at me. I told myself she was jealous. I told myself she wished she had a life with drama and romance. That thought made me feel powerful. Mila got into the car first. She asked why Dad was quiet lately. I said Dad was stressed and needed time. She asked if it was her fault. I said no, and I said it fast. Noah climbed in and asked if we could have pizza. I said yes, and I said it like I was generous. I was spending like a queen, and pizza felt like proof I was still in control. At home, I changed clothes and took pictures in the mirror. Not obvious, not too much, just enough to show I was glowing. I sent one to Gavin with a simple line. He replied fast and said I looked like a woman who knew what she wanted. I told myself I did. Ethan came home and went straight to the sink to wash his hands. He asked how the kids' day was. I said fine. He asked if I remembered milk. I said yes, but I had not bought it. I hated that he noticed details. I said he was acting like a manager. He said he was just asking. I said he always just asked. In the evening, I left for the rooftop bar. Ethan asked where I was going. I said I told him already. He said he did not remember. I said he never listened. He asked if I could be home by 10 because Noah had a dentist appointment in the morning. I said yes, but I said it in a way that meant no. He did not argue. He only nodded. That annoyed me. The rooftop bar was loud and bright. The city looked pretty in the background, like a movie. Cassidy hugged me and asked if I was okay. I said I was fine, but my husband was being controlling again. She asked what he did now. I said he checked the savings and acted like I stole. I said it like it was funny. People laughed. That laughter felt like a shield. Someone asked if Ethan was always like that. I said yes, and I said he had gotten worse. I said he acted like I should ask permission to be happy. Cassidy said some men were threatened by women who level up. I agreed fast. I said Ethan liked me better when I was quieter. I said it like I was telling the truth, but I was really building a story that made me the hero. Phones were out. Cassidy made a short video for her story. She did not show my face fully, but she showed my drink, my hand, my nails. She wrote a caption about women choosing freedom. I shared it. I told myself it was not about Ethan, but I knew people would connect it to him. I wanted them to. A friend I barely knew asked where Ethan was tonight. I said he was home, watching the kids, like he was my employee. Someone said that sounded sad. I said he chose it. I said he preferred spreadsheets to people. I said it with a smile. Inside, I felt a small sting, like I was poking a bruise and pretending it did not hurt. Later, Ethan texted and asked if I was okay and if I remembered the time. I saw the message and did not answer right away. I wanted him to wait. I wanted him to feel ignored. When I finally replied, I said I was fine and he was being dramatic. I added that I deserved one night without his rules. At home, I came in after 10. The house was dark except for the kitchen light. Ethan was sitting at the table, not sleeping. He asked if everything was okay. I said yes. He asked why people were tagging him in posts. I said I did not know. I said he embarrassed me by acting sad in public. He said he did not post anything. I said his face was the post. I said he always made himself the victim. He asked if we could talk without blaming. I said I did not blame him. I just described him. That line sounded smart, so I repeated it. He asked again about the savings, calmer than before. He said he saw the transfer to my personal account. He asked what it was for. I felt my chest tighten, but I kept my voice steady. I said it was for life stuff. I said the house needed things and I handled it. He asked what things. I said he would not understand. He said he wanted to understand. I said he wanted to control. He looked tired. He rubbed his forehead. He asked if I was hiding something. I said no, and I said it like he was insulting me. I asked why he did not trust me. He said trust was not the same as missing money. I said it was. I said if he loved me, he would stop asking. Ethan went quiet for a long time. Then he said he did not want to argue in front of the kids, and he would sleep in the guest room tonight. I laughed once and said he was being dramatic. He did not react. He just stood up, took his phone, and walked away. I stayed in the kitchen and stared at my own reflection in the dark window. I told myself he was trying to punish me with distance. I told myself he wanted me to beg. I decided I would not beg. I would make him look worse instead. The next days felt like I was walking on a thin floor. I told myself it would not break if I moved fast. Ethan slept in the guest room, and he did it without drama. He did not slam doors. He did not raise his voice. He still made the kids breakfast, and he still drove Noah to school when I was busy. That calm was not kind, it was quiet pressure. In the morning, I saw his mug on the far side of the counter. Mine was near the sink. 2 mugs, 2 islands. I told myself he was trying to make me feel guilty. I told myself it was a trick. I decided I would not fall for it. At work, I acted normal. I did my job. I smiled. I also watched my phone like it was my real boss. Gavin wrote and asked if I could meet him in a co-working lounge near downtown. He said he had good news. He said his project was close. I liked how he always had a close. He never had a finish. But I did not say that to him. I said I was proud of him. I told my manager I had a personal appointment. I said it in a calm voice, like I had a right to vanish. In the elevator, I checked my bank app again. The savings balance looked smaller now. It should have scared me. Instead, it made me feel bold. I told myself rules were for people who failed. The co-working lounge smelled like coffee and printer paper. People typed and whispered. Gavin sat by the window and looked relaxed. He asked if Ethan was still acting cold. I said yes, and I said Ethan wanted to control me with money. Gavin asked if I felt trapped. I said I did, because that made Gavin look at me like I was brave. He talked about a bridge again. He said his contractor payment was delayed. He said he could lose a big chance if he could not cover a short gap. He said he hated asking, but he trusted me. I liked that word, trusted. It felt like a reward. I asked how much he needed. He said a number that made my stomach tighten. I told him I could do it. I said it fast, like a promise is easier when you do not breathe. He smiled and said I was different from other women. I told myself that meant I was special. I did not tell myself it meant I was easy to use. Back at the office, I worked like a machine. I closed files. I answered messages. I did not think about the house. I did not think about the kids. I thought about Gavin's smile and how it made me feel like my life had a secret door. That evening, I stopped at the mall. I told myself I was just looking. Then I saw a jewelry kiosk with bright lights and clean glass. The seller asked if I wanted to try something on. I said I was just browsing. He asked if it was for someone special. I said yes, and I felt important when I said it. I bought a bracelet that was not cheap. I told myself it was for me, not Gavin. But in my head, I saw it on his wrist in some future moment. I saw him wearing my choice like a sign. I told myself it was an investment in love. I told myself Ethan had never given me that kind of feeling, so Ethan owed me this. When I got home, Ethan was in the living room with the kids. Mila was doing homework. Noah was building a small tower with blocks. Ethan looked up and asked how my day was. I said it was long. He asked if I could talk later about the account. I said he was always on that topic. He said it mattered because it was our house money. I said it was also my money, and I would not be treated like a child. He asked what the bracelet bag was. I said it was a gift for a co-worker's birthday. He asked which co-worker. I said it did not matter. He said he was not trying to fight, he just wanted honesty. I said honesty was not a police report. I said he used honesty like a weapon. He went quiet. Then he asked if I could at least show him the transfer history. I said no. I said he would twist it. I said he always twisted things. Ethan said he was tired of guessing. I said he should stop guessing and start trusting. After the kids went to bed, Ethan stood near the doorway like he was waiting for a bus. He asked if I was seeing someone. He did not accuse. He did not shout. He just asked. For a second, I felt a cold shock. Then I got angry, because anger is easier than fear. I said he was insecure. I said he was projecting. I said he asked because he wanted a reason to blame me for his own distance. He asked again, softer, if I was seeing someone. I said no, and I held my face steady. I told myself the lie was necessary. I told myself it was protection. Ethan nodded once. He said he would not argue. He said he needed to focus on the kids and on facts. I hated that word, facts. Facts do not care about feelings. Later, I walked past the study and heard a low sound. It was like a small engine, steady and quiet. I paused. I realized it was our shredder. Ethan had never used it much before. The sound stopped. Then I heard a soft click, like a drawer locking. I went to the kitchen and opened a cabinet to get water. My hands shook. I told myself he was being dramatic again. I told myself he was trying to scare me. But Ethan was not the type to scare people with threats. He scared people by changing the rules. The next day, I noticed his keyring looked different. There was a new key on it. I asked what it was. He said it was nothing. He said he replaced an old copy for the garage. I said he was hiding things now. He said he was organizing. I said he was punishing me. He said he was protecting the household. At work, I vented to Cassidy and Jenna by text. I said Ethan was acting weird and cold. I said he was making me feel unsafe, even though he never touched me. I said his silence was emotional abuse. Those words looked strong on the screen. They made me feel like I had a case, like I was the one being hurt. Cassidy replied that men like Ethan always did this when they lost control. Jenna replied that I should stay on top and not let him corner me. I felt better after reading that. I wanted to believe I was the smart one. That afternoon, Gavin asked if I had moved the money yet. I said yes, I would do it soon. He sent a smiley and said he knew I would come through. I sat in my car and did the transfer. I did not even cry this time. It felt normal now, like paying a bill. When I got home, Ethan was in the driveway, wiping something inside his car. He had the trunk open. He looked up and asked if I could follow the kids' bedtime routine tonight because he needed to finish some personal tasks. I asked what tasks. He said paperwork and household planning. He said it in a flat voice. I tried to laugh. I said he was turning into an accountant. He asked why I mocked him. I said I was joking. He said he did not feel like a joke. I said he took everything too seriously. He said maybe he had not taken things seriously enough. I went inside and saw a faint smell in the hallway, like warm toner. Our printer sat on a small shelf, and there was a blank page sticking out. I stared at it, like the paper was watching me. I told myself it was nothing. I told myself Ethan was just printing recipes or school forms. That night, in bed, I opened my phone and scrolled through old messages with Gavin. Some were gone, some were still there. I felt a small panic and told myself I could delete things later. Then I saw Ethan's reflection in the dark window as he walked past the bedroom door toward the guest room. He did not look at me. He did not ask anything. He just kept moving, like he already chose his direction. I told myself he was trying to win by acting calm. I told myself I would not let him win. I did not understand yet that calm can be a plan. The in-laws invited us for dinner on Sunday, and I said yes before Ethan could answer. I told myself it was strategic. If we sat at a long table with other people watching, Ethan would behave. He would not attack me with his questions. That is what I told myself. The real reason was simple. I wanted witnesses. I wanted an audience for my story. Before we left, Ethan asked if I could keep it calm. He said the kids did not need tension. I said I was always calm, and he was the one who made things tense. He did not argue. He just picked up Noah's jacket and Mila's homework folder. In the car, Mila asked why we were going to Grandma Linda's, if Mom and Dad were mad. I said we were not mad. I said Dad was just stressed about money. Ethan kept his eyes on the road. He did not correct me. That silence felt like permission, so I kept going. I said some men got scared when women wanted more from life. Ethan's hand stayed steady on the wheel. At Linda and Robert's house, the smell of food hit us at the door. Linda hugged the kids first. She hugged Ethan next. She hugged me last. It was polite, but it was not warm. I noticed it, and I told myself she was choosing sides too early. At the table, Robert asked Ethan about work. Ethan answered in short lines. Linda asked me about my job. I talked more than needed. I described stress and pressure and how hard it was to carry emotions at home. I watched their faces while I spoke, like I was testing buttons. Linda asked how things were with the house savings. She said it like a normal question, but it felt sharp. I smiled and said Ethan worried too much. I said I handled the family in many ways, and money was only one part. Robert asked if there was a specific issue. I said Ethan had been monitoring me and acting like my father. I said it made me feel small. I did not say I moved money. I did not say I sent it to someone else. I did not say anything real. Ethan finally spoke. He said he was not monitoring me. He said he just saw large transfers and wanted to understand. His voice stayed even. That annoyed me because it made me sound dramatic. I leaned forward and said he asked questions at night when I was tired. I said he used calm as a weapon. Linda asked what the transfers were for. I said home needs, and I said it fast. Ethan looked at me for a second, then looked away. Kyle, Ethan's brother, came late and sat down with a tight smile. He asked if everyone was okay. I said yes, and I laughed a little too loud. Kyle looked at Ethan and then at me. He asked Ethan if he wanted to take a walk after dinner. Ethan said maybe. Mila barely ate. Noah asked for more bread and did not notice the mood. Linda tried to talk about school projects, but the air stayed heavy. I hated that. I wanted the room to lean to me, to comfort me, to call Ethan unfair. But Robert kept asking calm questions. He asked what dates the transfers happened. He asked if we had agreed on them. I said I did not remember exact dates. I said Ethan remembered dates because he lived inside numbers. After dinner, Linda took the kids to the living room to show them a photo album. I stayed at the table with Ethan, Robert, and Kyle. I felt exposed, like the adults had moved from feelings to facts, and I did not have facts. I tried to shift it back. I said Ethan had been distant for months. I said he did not make me feel wanted. I said I was lonely in my own house. Kyle asked if that explained moving savings. I said loneliness explained many things. Ethan asked quietly if I was hearing myself. I said yes, and I said I sounded honest. Linda returned and asked Ethan if he wanted coffee. Ethan said no, he had to get the kids home. Linda asked if they should come stay with her for a night, to give everyone rest. I felt my face tighten. I said she was trying to take my children. Linda said she was trying to help. I said help was not needed, control was. Robert told me not to twist words. I said nobody told Ethan not to twist words. On the way out, Mila held Linda's hand longer than usual. That small thing made me angry. In the car, Mila asked if Dad was going to leave. I said no. I said Dad was just trying to scare everyone with his serious face. Ethan said Mila did not need that conversation right now. I said he was censoring me again. The next day, I stopped at the pharmacy on my way home from work. I said it was for vitamins. It was also because I wanted to be out of the house. Standing in a line with strangers felt safer than sitting in my kitchen with Ethan's silence. In the pharmacy queue, I saw Marisol. She asked how I was doing. I said I was tired and that Ethan was making things hard. Marisol asked what he was doing. I said he questioned my spending and acted like I could not be trusted. Marisol frowned and asked if there was a reason he felt that way. I said he was insecure. I said he wanted to punish me for wanting a life. Marisol said softly that sometimes people ask questions because they were scared. I said Ethan had no right to be scared. I said I was the one who was suffocating. Marisol looked like she wanted to say more, then she just nodded and paid for her items. That evening, I sat on a playground bench while Noah ran in circles, and Mila sat on a swing. Ethan stood a few steps away, watching the kids. I wanted him to come close. I wanted him to ask me to talk. I wanted him to beg a little. He did not. I walked up to him and asked why he was acting like a stranger. He said he was trying to keep things stable for the kids. I said stable was another word for cold. He said he was not cold, he was careful. I asked what he was careful about. He said he was careful about words and actions now. He said he did not want confusion later. That line made my skin prickle. Myla came over and asked if we could go home. Ethan said yes. I said we could stay longer. Ethan said Noah needed dinner and sleep. I said he was controlling the schedule to control me. Ethan said he would follow the schedule because the kids needed it. On the drive home, Noah fell asleep. Mila stared out the window. I tried to fill the silence by talking about a school event next week. Ethan listened without comment. It felt like talking into a soft wall. At home, I saw the fridge calendar again. There was a neat reminder, written in Ethan's handwriting, with a place name and a time. I did not ask what it was. I told myself asking would show weakness. In the kitchen, Ethan poured water and asked if we could talk privately after the kids slept. I said he could talk, but I would not be blamed. He said he did not want to blame. He said he wanted the truth. I laughed, even though nothing was funny. I said truth was a word people used when they wanted to control the story. Ethan looked at me like he was tired of stories. He said he would not fight tonight. He said he would keep things respectful. Then he walked to the guest room again, like it was normal. I stayed in the kitchen alone and opened my phone. I stared at Gavin's name and felt my throat tighten. I told myself I deserved love. I told myself Ethan drove me to this. I told myself it was all still fixable, as long as I kept everyone looking at Ethan instead of me. By the end of that week, I was tired of pretending I was not scared. I did not say I was scared out loud, because that would make me the weak one. Instead, I acted offended. Offended felt stronger. Offended made people step back. On Friday morning, I decided I would fix the money problem with one clean move. I told myself I would move things around, smooth the edges, and Ethan would stop asking. I told myself I could cover the gap before anyone noticed. That was my style. I did not solve problems. I covered them. I drove to the bank branch during my lunch break. The lobby was cold and bright, with posters about savings and security. I took a number and sat down. I kept my face calm, like I belonged there. I told myself confidence is the same as truth if you hold it long enough. When the teller called me, I smiled and said I needed to make a transfer. She asked for my ID. I gave it. She looked at her screen longer than usual. Then she said a manager needed to review activity on the account. She said it in a polite voice, like she was reading a script. My heart jumped, but I did not show it. I asked why. She said it was routine because of unusual transfer patterns. I laughed a little and said it must look strange because we were renovating. She asked if I had invoices or a contract to name. I said I did not have them on me. She said that was fine, but the system needed extra review. I felt heat rise in my neck. I told myself the bank was overreacting. I told myself Ethan probably called them. That thought made me angry, and anger helped me breathe. I asked if my husband did something. She said she could not discuss other people. I said he was controlling, and he liked to panic. She did not react. She only said the manager would call me in 1 or 2 business days. I left the bank fast and sat in my car with my hands on the steering wheel. For a moment, I wanted to cry. Instead, I opened my phone and wrote to Jenna. I said the bank was slowing me down and Ethan might be behind it. Jenna asked if I was serious. I said yes, and I added that Ethan was trying to trap me. Jenna said I should delete messages and keep things clean. I said I already did, even though I had not deleted everything. Then I wrote to Gavin. I said the bank was annoying, but I would handle it. Gavin replied that he trusted me and that I was strong. He added that he needed the money soon because people were waiting on him. I read that line twice. It made me feel like a worker, not a lover. But I still told myself it was love. I did not want to admit I was being used. That evening, I came home and found Ethan in the hallway by the stairwell. He was holding Noah's backpack and Mila's lunch bag, like he had been preparing for the next day. He asked if I went to the bank. His voice was calm, too calm. I asked how he knew. He said the bank app sent an alert about an attempted transfer. I felt a sharp panic. I said the app should not alert him like that. I said it was my privacy. Ethan said it was a joint account, and alerts were normal. He asked what the transfer was for. I stepped up one stair so I was slightly above him. It was a small thing, but it made me feel taller. I said it was for house needs. He asked which needs. I said he did not listen when I explained. He said I did not explain. I said he only wanted details to shame me. He said he wanted details because the account was draining. I said he was stressing me out on purpose. I said he knew I was already overwhelmed. Ethan asked why I was overwhelmed. I said because I carried the emotional work in the home. He asked what emotional work. I said things like caring, noticing, planning, and being the one who kept the family warm. He said he did those things too. I said he did them like a robot. Mila walked out of her room and asked if we were fighting. I said no, and I smiled at her. Ethan said we were talking and that Mila could go back to bed. Mila looked at Ethan for a second, then looked at me. She asked if Dad was leaving again to sleep in the other room. I said Dad liked to punish people with silence. Ethan said he slept there because he did not want arguments in front of the kids. After Mila went back to her room, Ethan said we needed to talk privately later. I said we could talk now, because I was tired of his private meetings. He said it was not a meeting. He said he wanted a calm conversation. I said calm was his way of controlling the room. He asked why I always turned everything into a battle. I said, because he always started it. He sighed once and looked at the floor. Then he said he was not going to debate tonight. He said he would follow routines and keep things stable for the kids. I said that sounded like a threat. He said it was not a threat, it was a promise. The next day, I tried to soften. I made pancakes. I laughed with Noah. I asked Mila about her spelling test. I wanted the house to feel normal, because normal made me feel safe. Ethan thanked me for breakfast and did the dishes. He did not talk about money. That should have been a relief. Instead, it made my stomach twist. Silence was starting to feel like a plan. In the afternoon, I suggested we go to a quiet restaurant booth near the highway, the kind of place with simple menus and soft lighting. I told Ethan it could be a reset. He asked if the kids were coming. I said no. Linda offered to take them for a couple of hours. Ethan nodded, like he had already accepted that. At the restaurant, I tried a gentle voice. I said I knew things were tense. I said I wanted us to reconnect. Ethan asked what reconnect meant to me. I said it meant he stopped treating me like a suspect. Ethan said he did not want to treat me like anything. He said he wanted the truth and a plan. I said I could explain, but he needed to promise not to judge me. He said he could listen, but he could not promise not to react to facts. That irritated me. I told him feelings should matter more than numbers. He said feelings mattered, but numbers were real. I tried to pivot. I said he had neglected me. I said I felt invisible. Ethan asked if that justified draining savings. I said the savings were a symbol, and I needed to break symbols. Ethan asked if I heard how that sounded. I said he was twisting my words again. He asked for a full list of transfers and what they were for. I said making a list was humiliating. He said it was accountability. I said accountability was a word people used when they wanted power. We sat in silence for a long minute. Then Ethan said he would not argue in public. He said he would keep the conversation respectful and focused on solutions. I said he was acting like he was above me. He said he was acting like a father protecting a household. When we walked out to the parking lot, I tried to take his hand. He let me for a second, then he let go. I asked if he still loved me. He said love was not the only issue now. He said trust and safety were also issues. I said he was overreacting. I said everyone has rough seasons. Ethan looked at me with flat eyes and said he was done with seasons. He said he would handle it properly. My stomach dropped. I tried to laugh, but it came out thin. I asked what properly meant. Ethan said it meant calm steps, real boundaries, and lawful solutions. He said he would not yell, and he would not beg. He said he would do it properly, because our kids deserved that. I stood there in the parking lot and watched his face. It was not angry. It was resolved. For the first time, I felt like my words were not reaching him anymore. That scared me more than any shouting ever could. My phone kept buzzing that Monday, like it knew something I did not want to know. I was at work, pretending to read emails, when Ethan texted and said we needed to meet in public after lunch. He said it was important. I asked if he was doing this to scare me. He said he was doing it to keep things clear. I told my manager I had a personal appointment and left early. On the drive, I practiced lines in my head. I told myself I would look calm. I told myself I would make him feel guilty again. I told myself I could still steer the story. When I arrived, I saw the building and my stomach dropped. It was the courthouse. The lobby was bright and cold, with people sitting on benches and looking at their phones. It smelled like paper and floor cleaner. I told myself Ethan was just being dramatic, like always. I told myself he could not really do anything. Ethan stood near a pillar, not alone. A woman in a plain suit stood beside him, holding a folder. Ethan looked tired but steady. He did not walk toward me fast. He did not try to touch me. He just watched me like he was watching weather. I asked why we were here. He said he wanted this handled properly. I said he was punishing me. He said he was protecting the household. I started to say more, but a man walked up and said my full name. He asked if I was Verena Tarrant. I said yes, and my voice sounded too loud. He said he needed to hand me documents. I said I was not taking anything. He said I did not have to agree, but he could still serve me. He held out a thick envelope. People nearby looked up. I felt heat rush to my face. I said Ethan was trying to humiliate me. Ethan said he did not choose the lobby. The process did. I grabbed the envelope like it burned. I flipped pages without reading properly, because reading felt like losing. I saw words that made my eyes sting. I saw civil claim, and I saw fraud, and I saw a list of dates and amounts. I saw screenshots of transfers. I saw my name beside numbers that looked like a confession. I told Ethan this was insane. I said we were married, so it could not be fraud. He said marriage did not give permission to lie and take. I said I did not take, I moved. He said moving without agreement, with false reasons, was still taking. The woman beside him introduced herself as his attorney. She spoke in a calm voice and said the papers included a request for immediate financial restraints and an order for an accounting. She said the court had already reviewed an emergency filing for temporary protections. She said there would be a short hearing today. I tried to laugh. I said Ethan always wanted attention. Ethan said he wanted safety. I said he was turning money into a weapon. He said I turned money into a secret. I stepped closer and lowered my voice, like that would pull him back into our private world. I said we could talk, and we did not need outsiders. He said we tried private talks, and I changed the story each time. He said he had receipts now, not just feelings. I opened my phone and tried to call Gavin. It rang and rang. He did not answer. I wrote that I needed help. I wrote that it was urgent. He did not reply. The silence from Gavin felt different than Ethan's silence. Ethan's silence felt planned. Gavin's silence felt like abandonment. Ethan asked if I wanted to speak before the judge. I said I did not need a judge to tell me what my marriage was. His attorney said the court was not judging my feelings. It was judging actions. When we went into the courtroom, everything felt too small and too public. I sat at one table. Ethan sat at another. I wanted to look around and find someone on my side, but I only saw strangers waiting for their own problems. The judge spoke in a firm, flat tone. The judge asked if I understood why we were there. I said Ethan was exaggerating and trying to control me. The judge asked about the transfers and asked if I denied making them. I said I made transfers, but they were for the family. The judge asked why some transfers went to an account not connected to household bills. The judge asked why the notes on the transfers said repairs when no invoices existed. I tried to answer, but my words sounded thin. Ethan's attorney spoke and walked through the timeline. She pointed to bank entries. She pointed to messages where I said I was handling house stuff and then asked Gavin if he received the money. She pointed to my own contradictions. Ethan did not speak much. When he did, he said he wanted the kids stable and the assets protected while the case moved forward. The judge said there was enough evidence for immediate protections. The judge said the court would grant temporary orders today. The judge said I was restrained from moving, hiding, or spending marital assets beyond basic needs. The judge said Ethan would have temporary sole control of the joint accounts. The judge said I had to provide full financial records and passwords for any accounts used for the transfers. The judge also said the claim would continue and that the court would consider recovery of funds, fees, and other remedies based on fraud and misrepresentation. I felt my body go cold. I opened my bank app with shaking hands. The joint account showed a warning banner. It said, access was restricted. I told myself it was a glitch. I tried my card at the small payment kiosk outside the courtroom to buy water. It declined with a sharp beep. Ethan looked at me one last time. He did not smile. He did not celebrate. He just asked if I understood the order. I said he was ruining me. He said I ruined myself. The clerk said the temporary orders were effective immediately, and I watched Ethan walk away with the folder in his hand while my phone kept flashing restricted, like it was the only word left for me.